right, now down here with Dan Patrick out here for round 9 in Cottage Grove, Oregon. Now, Dan, we're without Dan Runty and Bigfoot. We're without Craig Christensen, our points leader. What do you have to say about tonight's action?
Well, maybe I won't screw up and gain some points on them, you know, if we don't have driver error. But I don't know. At least put down a pretty good course here. I think it'll be fun and it'll be a challenge, and it's definitely going to be a driving thing more than power. Of course, power will play into it later on as everybody gets more aggressive throughout the night.
That first jump, step on it really, really hard to get across the line, and that's where it's going to be the difference is landing off that first jump, Wade.
So Swanson and Obsession was the faster truck in that pass, 5.558 seconds. Here's Jimmy Cretin, our old friend in Bounty Hunter, joining us in M.O.D. action, racing with Dan Patrick in the Samson. Look at him catch that air. This obstacle is going to be tough all night. Let's see here, 5.469 for Patrick and Samson, 5.56 for Bounty Hunter. Samson is fast truck so far tonight. Too much time in the air, too much gas over that obstacle, and he had a lot of hang time there, which cost him 2/10. He is not going to be top qualifier here tonight, as we have the next pass now. Bounty Hunter, Jimmy Cretin, and that man Dan Patrick in the number 50 Samson truck.
I think what's going to be interesting is watching these drivers get used to the course. And look at this, Dan Patrick and Samson already has it dialed in a 5.031, an extremely fast time against Bounty Hunter's 5.487. And
we're going to talk about suspension on the monster trucks, and in today's suspension we use a nitrogen-charged shock. We've been doing this technology for about the last 15 years, but we've gone through a lot of different changes and different lengths and styles of shocks in the last 5 or 6 years. We have a cantilever system on the back. And back when we were building the trucks, we wanted more travel in the back if we could get the front. The only thing available to us at the time was a 20-inch travel shock. But the way this works is it's still a 20-inch shock up here, and we have a pivot point here. So this is actually a 2-to-1 ratio. So if the shock moves 20 inches, the end result is the rear end moves 40 inches. But we have this one limited about 33 inches. What's really nice about this is it's a lot softer in like stadium racing or the obstacle racing. You see what we're doing here on the Monster Destruction, where the back end trails really nice over the humps and stuff. It doesn't give you that pogo effect that you see other trucks do when the back end catches the back side of the hill, throws it up, and you know, then the driver's got to get control of the truck, to where we get lucky with that, it kind of pops over. The downside of it is there's a lot of maintenance to it. The cantilever suspension is a lot harder on the back half of the truck because all the load is transferred to the back of the truck. Actually, we carry 2 complete spare sets of shocks for the back, and we just take the shocks off. But like I say, it's a lot of more maintenance, but I feel the end result is better. But for me personally, I like the way the truck handles, I like the way it flies. So we're building a new truck for 07, and it'll have the cantilever suspension on the back of it also.
Session when they come back for semifinals.
This is heat number 3. Dave Harkey and Bigfoot getting set to do battle against Dan Patrick and Samson. He was the top qualifier, and because we have 6 trucks here tonight, fast loser could come back, so a lot on the line here.
That's right, we saw Dan Patrick open it up a little earlier. Now let's watch as he comes across the inside lane. Look at that Hemi open up, and they are going side by side. Looks like Harkey and the Bigfoot of 5.137 versus Samson's 5.41. That's going to put him into semifinal action.
And that beats the time of 5.141 posted by Rick Swanson. It's the fastest heat. He's got a lot under that hood here tonight.
Well, let's take a look at the replay as they come across. Bigfoot a little bit slower as they get off the line, but he comes down the backside, drops the hammer down, and off he goes. It's enough to catch him at the very tail end. And I tell you what, that's got to be a little disappointing for Dan Patrick and Samson after coming out so fast in qualifying. Look at how far ahead he is there. And then right off that final set of cars, it looks like Bigfoot takes him.
Well, Samson just spent too much time on 2 wheels, huh, Frank?
Yeah, it looks like he was getting the traction he needed to. That inner lane looks a little softer after the landing.
So Iron Outlaw will come back as our fast loser, and
actually nailed it just fine. So we'll see as these drivers come up to the line. Dave Harkey in the 84 Bigfoot. Now this is going to be an interesting race out here. Dan Patrick and the number 50 Samson showed us what he was made of out here in the straight line drags. Got to open up the Hemi. Another long course this time around, Wade.
Yeah, this is just a strange course. What a big bobble there on the part of Bigfoot. He is in trouble. They're going to cross. Let's see here. I can't tell who's got the advantage yet, but it looks like Samson Cleaner around the turn, coming to the finish. Bigfoot in the air, but Samson is going to take this one over the last car stack, flying across the line. Dan Patrick, 17.85. Bigfoot with just a tremendous bobble over the tabletop.
Man, oh man, that just about threw him over the top. Now let's take a look again as they go side by side off of the line. They both attack that second jump. Now let's watch. Samson is up and over clean. Look at Harkey, and the Bigfoot noses into that. Just about endos over. And Frank, how scary is that?
It's definitely scary. Bigfoot just got a little more traction with his right side tires than his left. It just shot him over the left. It was a good run. Dan just planted a good run, just like Lindsay did in the earlier run.
Now let's take a look at the POV cam as we come across, and look at this. Samson with a great shot, nice and smooth, all the way up and over. Here you see he's clear. He's got to slow down just a tiny bit for the other truck crossing the lane. Here he comes back over. He's going to put the power down right here and across the line, nice and clean. That's a great textbook run.
I'd like to see more running just like that tonight in the later rounds. This is like you said, this is wild. This track is just psycho crazy. I love it.
Now it's very technical, and the rules do say that you've got to hit each jump with all four wheels, and I'm not sure Bigfoot did that here. They don't credit him with a penalty because he lost the race anyway, but had he won, they might have looked at that a little harder.
It might have been a little bit more of an issue, but the M.O.D. officials are on top of it as we...
Here comes Bigfoot. He's coming back as the fastest loser, and this is a rematch of the first heat. Samson and Bigfoot. Samson won before. Do you think he can do it again?
I don't know. Samson's got an awful fast truck. Now let's take a look as they both go off the line. Both of them attack that jump, but look at Samson is able to clear it. Bigfoot on the inside. Look at Harkey. He is looking, oh man, looking straight at the ground as he goes nose first across that. Samson looks like he's going to take this one home, Wade.
Yeah, Bigfoot's headed for the showers. That was a rough run for him. We're going to see one of these trucks go endo here tonight.
You know, it's got to be coming out here in Cottage Grove. One of those trucks is going to hit that just right and go head over heels, and I can't wait for that to happen. Both of these drivers extremely good at what they do. They've been around the business a long time. Both have been in these trucks for a long time. Look, no poles are being hit. Look at how clean Harkey is able to maintain the truck even after going nose first over that.
And he got back on the gas. He's coming hard right here. Look at the momentum. He has not given up, but it just that bobble was too much to overcome as Samson advances to victory. One thing about Harkey, he's going to stay in it until it's over. And I thought he had a shot there with all that momentum he had.
You know, he might have it. He's been able to recover just a little bit different, but Samson, Dan Patrick is the kind of guy, sees a guy bobble on the course, he is going to capitalize on that mistake and expound on the difficulty of the track, and so Patrick is going to go away with the victory on this one.
Reaction time almost identical. This race was decided right here as he stands it on the front bumper there. Does Dave Harkey and Bigfoot gathers it back up and really gets on the gas hard right here. A lot of momentum, but just too little, too late as Dan Patrick moves on.
You can tell you guys aren't truck owners. Are like almost wishing to see when these guys flip over. You know what it's like to have to repair it and be out racing the following weekend. These guys are killing me.
You're absolutely right, man. We don't wish any trucks any harm, but the fans out here in Cottage Grove, Oregon, are absolutely loving this course.
I don't wish the drivers any harm, but you can tear trucks up all day long for all I care.
You want to help pay for it?
All right, so let's get back. Samson here you see with a .427 versus Bigfoot's .442. The finish cam shows it all. A 4-second victory, almost 4 seconds for Dan Patrick and Samson. Let's go out to the final now. Iron Outlaw versus Samson. It's going to be a great race, Wade.
Yeah, Lindsey Wink won the straight line drag portion of round 9, looking to sweep here in Cottage Grove, and he's got a good chance to do that, but Dan Patrick stands in his way.
Both planted clean runs earlier. This ought to be the race of the century here, on the track of the century.
That's right, a very difficult track. Let's see as they go side by side. Both of them attack the roller. Here they go. They're back up and over. Look at this. They are side by side. Wink around the inside. Samson does not have to slow down. Wink is way out in front in the Iron Outlaw. And here they go side by side across, coming to the finish line. Oh my goodness, the finals. Wink is going to come across cleanly. Let's make sure there's no penalties. It looks like he's going to take this with a 16.942. What a race, Wade.
And Lindsey Wink and Iron Outlaw has swept M.O.D. competition here in round 9. That was an exciting race. No mistakes, really. I think this one might have come down to lane choice.
It certainly looks like it. Both drivers very well versed in this course over the course of the night. Wink gets a little bit better landing right there. Comes across the inside. What do you think, Frank?
I think this run right here was exactly what this track was designed for. All the stuff we saw earlier was drivers having trouble. Both these guys are in the final for a reason. They deserve to be here, and they put on a great run, both of them.
Yeah, the difference seemed to be for Samson coming around that turning pole, setting up that first tabletop, didn't hit it quite right, had to get off the gas, was out of shape right here, spent too much time over that obstacle, and there you see in the outside of that camera view, Lindsey Wink blown away right there.
With Dan Patrick and Samson. We're out here for round number 10 back in Cottage Grove, Oregon. Now the track's a little bit different out there. The rollers set a little bit farther apart for obstacle course. What do you think that's going to do to your driving style out here?
Well, we'll see. Last night, or the last round, we were lucky. We're in the third pair, so we got to see the guys ahead of me run. So we found out that had to be a balls out, get after it kind of a course. Well, after some complaints and stuff, they've softened it up a little bit. So it's going to be a roller tonight. There's just no way, you know, unless somebody ahead of me tries it, and I see how the outcome is for them. I don't know if it's a Matic kind of a course like it was, you know, in the last rounds.
Here are our standings after 9. Really stick the landing there, as they say in gymnastics. Didn't approach that last jump very well, and he got out of shape. He's going to have to clean that up if he wants to win in straight line drags, to be sure. Here's Iron Outlaw now, Lindsey Wink. He'll be racing alongside Dan Patrick and Samson. Looks like a good start for Samson. He's got the momentum. He can definitely the faster truck here. Patrick bounces across the line with a time of 5:4.79. Iron Outlaw checks in at 5:8.84.
And that was a very quick time. It looks like Samson leans there. So let's go back to our final round of qualifying here. Lindsey Wink in the Iron Outlaw, the partner CSK truck to the Bounty Hunter that we just saw. Samson, that is Dan Patrick out of Circleville, Ohio. Now here they go, just ready to go green as they come across the line. Let's take a look.
Samson was fast in the first round, Kevin. He's looking pretty fast here. Gets over the tabletop well. He's screaming across the line. Look at the distance on that jump. 5:4.65. That is top qualifier tonight. Samson takes the pole position.
Both advancing. Samson and Bigfoot are up next for our third heat race here, Wade.
Yeah, both of these trucks have been in the business a long time. Each of these drivers is going to be looking for any advantage they can get here. It's going to be a close race, that's for sure. The stage is set now as they're about to go green. Both trucks really fast off the line, and I think Bigfoot is too fast. He is disqualified. Samson just needs to finish. We have a red light situation with Bigfoot. Samson catches a break. He's been kind of snake bit, but this time it works in his favor.
So Samson having some trouble earlier on in the season, not able to be in that winner's bracket. Now he gets a chance to do that. As we take a look at the start cam one more time, both drivers off and running very quick, but like you mentioned, as we watch Samson here, I think Bigfoot right there, the time on the ground while Samson was up in the air, that I believe is where the race was won, aside from the red line.
Look at this reaction time, 0.006 seconds. Patrick was on it, and Bigfoot was just a hair fast. It doesn't get any better than that as far as reaction time. Less than 100th of a second.
You know, and he almost had to be on it before the light went green. Samson and Iron Outlaw going to go up against
Dan Patrick or Lindsey Wink and Iron Outlaw. We move to that semifinal round right now. There's Lindsey Wink and Iron Outlaw. Beautiful paint job on that truck. Biggest arms in the business there for Patrick on the Samson machine. This could be anybody's race, but based on what we've seen so far here in Oregon, Lindsey Wink has been hot. Let's see what he can do. He's got a lead here. It looks like he's going to get home. He does. 5.846, and Lindsey Wink advances. Dan Patrick going home disappointed.
And that's got to be one of the slower times that we've seen Patrick put out here in Cottage Grove, Oregon with a 6.192. Unfortunately, I just don't think he got it dialed in after he came off the jump. Lindsey Wink, of course, capitalizing on that. One more time, coming back as the fast loser. Now all he's got to do is win the final round. And Frank, what do you think about that?
Oh, I don't know. Here it goes. There's going to be a banquet at the end of the year, and there's going to be a fast loser trophy. And here comes Lindsey Wink to see if he can pull it off again. It's amazing what this guy can do with a truck.
So your final is set. It'll be Natural High against Iron Outlaw for heat number 3, which will be Samson and Bigfoot, a rematch of what we saw in round number 9. And Bigfoot really has some work to do. He lost both times.
That's right. Harkey was a little bit under the pace this last time around, as we saw out here in round number 9. Now, Dan Patrick in the Samson, of course, a very fast truck. He likes to open that Hemi up that he's got underneath the hood. Now we're going to get a chance to let these two drivers go green against each other as they come out on the obstacle course. And look at this. Patrick is going to try and take a launch. Oh, he catches the rear tires, almost goes over there. Meanwhile, Bigfoot is running over the pole. So both drivers having some difficulty out here as they come back around. Looks like they're coming to the final stretch here. Samson having trouble keeping it straight. Harkey and the Bigfoot is going to cross the line first. However, with that 2-second penalty, Bigfoot is going to have to succumb to Samson's power with a 19.186 for Dan Patrick and Samson.
Well, we can see here on the replay, Dan gets a great jump off the line, and then you see him come up short on the landing, the backside here, and get the big kick. But with Dan's rear cantilever suspension, which we've seen before featured, just soaks it up, clean, nice turn, doesn't have to wait for Bigfoot, and then just finishes up. And then with Bigfoot's penalty, Dan takes the win here.
So Dan Patrick and Samson advances. Looks like Bigfoot is going to be coming back, though, as fast loser. An important event. It's just a carbon copy of round 9, so Bigfoot not out of this thing yet.
You know what's even better about that? Samson and Bigfoot are going to face each other again in the semifinals, so we're going to see a repeat of this race right here, this matchup. They're going to do it all over again.
Here we go on board now with Dave Harkey. He's getting some punishment in there, Frank.
Yeah, it's like a typical run, but you know, the Bigfoot truck set up. If it wasn't set up as well as it was, he'd really be hurt.
And look at this, Patrick attacks it. Look at the roll. Patrick almost goes over there. He's clear out on the outside of the infield. That very well may cost him this race, Wade.
But he's got it gathered back up now, and he's actually charging to the lead. A great recovery here for Dan Patrick, who almost flips the truck and comes back to win. 18-3-4-7, and a Cinderella story there. What a comeback for Dan Patrick.
Man, oh man. Let's take one more look at the replay. This time around, both drivers off the line. Patrick actually a little bit behind, but as they come up to this roller, you know, what's going through his mind, Frank, as he comes up in the air?
I'm bowing right now. That's some driving skill at the ultimate right there. His suspension, like I said before, is superior to others, and it starts driving right there. He didn't even think about the save. He just saved it naturally and then went out and won the race.
I wonder if Bigfoot let off a little bit, thinking that Samson might be out of it, just tried to keep it clean and avoid penalties, and maybe didn't give it his all here. It's pretty good time, so maybe, I don't know if that's the case or not.
Yeah, I don't know, but you know, whether it be old school or not, Dan Patrick's suspension has always worked well for him. The other drivers go into the standardized shocks. Patrick stays with the cantilever style of suspension. And, you know, it just seems to work really well for him. Right there proving that he can drive the truck with with everything he's got on it and drive it like a pro.
The reaction times were pretty even. Just a great recovery on the part of Dan Patrick. Very impressive driving. So that sets up our final. It'll be Jimmy Cretin and Bounty Hunter going up against Dan Patrick and Samson.
Now here they come to the line. This is going to be a very interesting race. Cretin now into the finals for the first time in the M.O.D. season. His second round out, joining us here for round 10 in Cottage Grove. Dan Patrick and Samson, both drivers are staged and ready to go. Now let's see if Patrick is going to attack that jump a second time after that huge bobble in the last time. No, he's going to go easy. Both drivers are going to launch across, coming back around the corner. Nobody's got to slow down. It's clean so far. Patrick and Samson looks like he's set up a little bit quicker as they come across. Here they go. It's going to come down to the final straight. Both drivers wheels up, and it looks like Cretin and the Bounty Hunter is going to take it.
And too much air for Patrick over that last tabletop. 2/10 of extra hang time, and that's the difference in the race. Dan Patrick spent too much time in the air, not enough time on the ground.
I called it earlier, and saying something about Cretin just getting edged out in these earlier rounds and all that. And look at this concentration by Jimmy here. He puts a clean run. He goes out wide and sets up real clean for the finish, and he just takes out Dan. They both had an excellent run. Cretin just had one a little bit better.
So Jimmy Cretin breaks the spell of Lindsey Wink and Iron Outlaw, who had won every category in every race, both round 9 and 10 here in Cottage Grove. And now his teammate Jimmy Cretin breaks that spell, and he takes obstacle course racing here in round 10. So let's look at our final results in obstacle course racing here in round number 10. We're back to round 10 of Monsters of Destruction action on the Outdoor Channel. We've just seen one heck of an obstacle course final. We're going to talk to both drivers. Send it down to Kevin.
All right, down here now with Dan Patrick from Samson. Dan, you came out, I don't know what happened in the semifinals, man. You launched the truck out there. You did the back end wheelie. What was going on?
My cup holder, the drink fell out, and I was reaching for it, and things got out of hand. No, that they go, oh, hit the hill a little harder. I think you can hit the hill harder. Well, I did. So we had a good night and a couple good saves. So, folks, you saw my freestyle early. So, but no, it was a great night. You know, we've had a good run, and man, I have no problem losing to Jimmy. He's one of my best customers, and he does a lot of R&D. And I mean, the guy's a champ. You know, so he's hard to beat.
Well, Dan, a great job out here tonight. You guys were really close coming down to the line there. Of course, the corner always a deciding factor, and you put up a great fight. And second place, congratulations tonight.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to Cottage Grove.